win over his former team. Harden drew a mixed reaction of both cheers and boos during his pregame introduction. And after a tribute video played, and after the game, he said, "I just want to give them a show." Now, we knew this was going to be kind of a mixed reaction with Harden coming home. He had a messy way of leaving the team, but he still gives so much to that community. And he returned to Houston just weeks after the winter storm devastation. So it was a very, I think, interesting time to go back because he was still giving back to the community. He was building homes. He was helping with plumbing. He was supplying food. And he even said a big part of him and his heart is still in Houston. But when you leave the way that he left, I think that scars a lot of fans. And so it was interesting to see that kind of reaction.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not a fan. By design, we're not necessarily fans. I said this yesterday to Joy. If you give me 8 to 10 years of great, I'm okay with it. I grew up a Seattle Mariner fan, and everybody left. A-Rod left, and Griffey left, and Randy Johnson left. But when I was a diehard fan, I was like, they were great when they were here. And so not every relationship lasts forever. Sometimes you date. Sometimes it's 5 years, 6 years. So, I mean, I think if I look at it, Houston's bad now. And I don't love the way he forced the team to do what they did. But in the end, the Houston Rockets were one of the 3 or 4 most interesting NBA teams. They were on television. It was fun for 7 to 8 years. It didn't last forever. Even the Lakers and the Warrior dynasties, you get about 3 years out of them and they break up.
Yep.
So the NBA has always been in the NFL, your dynasties feel like they last a little longer. Mm-hmm. But in the NBA, they've always been fairly short because you generally need 3 stars, and at some point, one will get sick of the others. So I think you just have to understand in the NBA, when you're winning, love it, embrace it, but it's not, even if it's great, Shaq and Kobe, it's not going to last that long.
No. What I did think was important, though, was after the game, the love that he got from his former teammates and the coaches and the hugs that we saw on the court. Because that's what matters.
And nobody ever thought Harden was a bad guy. He was never a villain. I don't like the way he left, but I never viewed Harden as a villain or a bad guy. I viewed him as a guy with a style that needs a whistle, and you don't get it in the postseason. So I don't think his game translates as well regular season to playoffs. But I never thought he was a bad guy. He was kind of a quirky personality.
Yeah.
Yep. Alex for the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks.
Really did, in the end, felt like a bust. Bortles Manziel. Bortles got to a playoff. Johnny was out of the league in a couple. E.J. Manuel, only quarterback drafted in 2013, bust. Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin, star bust. Cam Jake Locker, star bust. Bradford Tebow, successful bust. Stafford Sanchez, pretty good, not very good. This is the reality of the NFL. And in every instance that I can recall, this is what happens. Because I believe Trevor Lawrence is a prodigy. I believe Zach Wilson is a project. I believe you get child prodigies, Bryce Harper. You get him in music. You get him in entertainment. And when I say child, I'm talking 15 to 19 years old. You're just different than everybody. Trevor Lawrence, as a freshman, Nick Saban had 6 weeks to prepare and could not stop him. As a freshman. Zach Wilson didn't play well until this past year. He wasn't very good as a freshman and sophomore. One is a quarterback prospect. One's a prodigy. LeBron was a prodigy. Bryce Harper's a prodigy. You see him in music, entertainment all the time. Not all the time, but you see him. And what you see, and this happens a lot, and I'm starting to hear it, a month or 2 before the draft, people start saying stuff like this. RG3 is actually better than Andrew Luck. Zach Wilson is actually better than Trevor Lawrence. Of course, this is not true. But what you do, all of a sudden people, because they've nitpicked the prodigy or the star, and with Zach Wilson, it's more about, well, he's better than we thought. People start claiming the 2 is better than the 1. I saw that with Andrew Luck and RG3. I am seeing that now with Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. So history tells you Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are going to go 1-2. One of them ain't going to work. And by the way, you tell me the last time a Jets quarterback truly worked. Joe Namath. Alex Curry with the news.
Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, the Browns have no doubt that Baker Mayfield will be their quarterback next season. They have until May 3rd to pick up his fifth-year option. And while GM Andrew Berry wouldn't reveal the team's plan, he did express that they do have faith in Baker as their starter.
The quarterback position is, in my mind, the most important position in professional sports. We've been pretty consistent with our messaging around Baker that we think he had a really strong season for us. We like the maturation and the growth both on and off the field, and we're looking forward to him continuing to take steps his second year in the offense.
All right, there you go. That's right. Okay, good. I don't have any negative thoughts on Baker this morning. I don't like to be marginalized as a hater, so let's just take those steps, Baker, and get better. And I've got no opinion.
I'm a big Baker fan here. He figured out a way to win. He's had 4 different coaches in 3 years.
True.
And then obviously this past season, he got the Browns to the postseason for the first time in 18 years and their first playoff win in 26 years. Yep. And you have to remember, leading into that playoff game, they were a COVID mess. Yeah. They weren't able to practice that week. They didn't have their head coach. And he somehow, everything was against them. And they were playing back-to-back Steelers Big Ben this time. And he figured out a way to win, and he got it done.
I predicted they were going to make the playoffs. I am not anti-Baker. I'm trying to end that. I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year, and I think Baker will be fine. I just think the AFC is getting much, much better.
I'll tip you on that one. But yes, Baker fan over here. Let's move on to the Raiders, because the Raiders have been mentioned in quarterback trade rumors this offseason, but GM Mike Mayock is standing by Derek Carr and singing the praises of his quarterback. Take a listen.
I think Derek Carr has earned a lot of respect around this league from an awful lot of people. I think Derek Carr had his best year yet under John Gruden. I think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, and we couldn't be happier with him. John and I would both stand shoulder to shoulder and pound the table for Derek Carr.
I know people are cynical, but I do believe, if you look at the last 2 years, I do believe John Gruden's come to terms with Derek Carr. Now, I don't think he loves that Mahomes and Justin Herbert are probably more naturally gifted, bigger, stronger guys with better arms. But again, we never thought Brady had the best arm or Montana the best arm. If you're a Raider fan today and Derek Carr in your world is the issue, then I think you don't really understand the Raiders' problems. Derek Carr is not. He is the life preserver the last 2 years. He's not sinking the boat. He's saving it.
And with all the quarterback roulette that's going on right now, I think this is important for Derek Carr to hear this and have the support and know that the team is backing him and behind him. Because again, when you have the support and that you know that you have that and mentally you're going into a season feeling comfortable, it completely changes your game.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. All right. James Harden returned to Houston last night for the first time since being traded to the Nets. He led the way with another triple-double, scoring 29 points with 10 rebounds and 14 assists in the 132-114